20 points, 3 touchdowns from Josh Allen. Oh, he leapt over a Chief. Where have I seen that before? Oh, that exact script last year. So yeah, I've seen that story before, my friends. The Bills roll into Arrowhead and kick the Chiefs' ass, except this time they didn't. They won a nail biter, and the Chiefs are not even whole. Please. So congrats, Buffalo. Now they are the 2-time Super Bowl champs because that's their Super Bowl.
Buffalo and Josh Allen, you rely on him to win games, but he's also he's the problem and the solution, all wrapped into one enigma here.
The Buffalo Bills' well-documented pursuit of a Super Bowl title is one of the most famous in the league.
Evening, Super Bowl 28 ended tonight in Atlanta as a football tragic comedy, with the Dallas Cowboys rallying to beat the Buffalo Bills 30-13. The Bills return home as the only American pro team in any sport to lose the championship showdown 4 consecutive times.
Snap, spot, in the air, it's got the distance, it is. No good!
Their heartbreaking run in the 90s, making it to 4 straight Super Bowls and losing every single one of them, each one more agonizingly painful than the last, has fans wondering if they'll ever make it back and finally overcome the curse. Since the retirement of all-time great Bills quarterback Jim Kelly, Buffalo have been searching for the answer. Short-term spells from the likes of Doug Flutie, Drew Bledsoe, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Tyrod Taylor gave mixed results, with the team naming 11 different starting quarterbacks to start the season between 1997 and 2017. In the 2016 season, a frustrating year led to the firing of head coach Rex Ryan with just 1 game shy of ending the season, with Buffalo falling to a 7-8 record and being eliminated from playoff contention. That season was the second of Tyrod Taylor's tenure with the franchise. Taylor was a former 6th-round pick who spent the early years of his career with the Baltimore Ravens and signed with Buffalo in 2015 on a 3-year, $3.3 million contract. Tyrod Taylor then beat out former first-rounder E.J. Manuel to earn the starting job and would start for the Bills under Rex Ryan for the next 2 seasons. Instead, they opted to restructure his contract and keep him on through the 2017 season, a choice that has now proved to be a catastrophic choice in team history. The 2017 NFL draft class featured many polarizing options at the quarterback spot. One of those was the North Carolina quarterback with limited starting experience, but scouting reports that had him becoming the next big thing in the pros. Mitchell Trubisky went off the board with the 2nd overall pick. Both Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson were still available. At the time, Watson was the more well-known name, having played at Clemson and helped them win a national championship in 2016. He was the MVP of that game and was expected to do big things in the NFL. The 3rd quarterback we're all pretty familiar with. He goes by the name of Patrick Mahomes. He had been lighting it up at Texas Tech in a stunning air raid offense, but still flew under the radar a little when it came to the draft. Having finished the previous season 7-9, the Buffalo Bills had the 10th overall pick in the draft. And as both Mahomes and Deshaun Watson remained available as teams in the top 10 made their selection, Buffalo had a decision to make. According to reports, drafting a quarterback was never on the table. They still believed Tyrod Taylor was their guy and wouldn't have drafted a quarterback had they stuck at pick 10 anyways. What they did instead is a monumental decision that changed NFL history forever.
The Kansas City Chiefs no longer have a 1st-round pick in next year's draft. Wow. They just traded it along with the 91st overall pick tomorrow night and their 1st-round pick tonight to move up 17 spots. And this may be the time Deshaun Watson comes out of the green room.
The Kansas City Chiefs had just gone 12-4 the season prior and lost a close game against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the divisional playoffs. And I mean, by all accounts, they already had their franchise quarterback, with Alex Smith leading the team to 3 playoff seasons in his first 4 years as the starter. Andy Reid in the front office in Kansas City had seen something that they simply couldn't refuse and traded up from the 27th overall pick to the 10th pick, jumping several other teams interested in a quarterback, and drafted Patrick Mahomes. This was a franchise-altering trade, and now in 2024, the Kansas City Chiefs franchise quarterback is a 3-time Super Bowl champion long before his 30th birthday, with 2 MVPs, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, and 3 All-Pro selections. He is already a first ballot Hall of Famer before the age of 30. And I mean, honestly, the Chiefs may never make a smarter decision in franchise history as long as they exist. For Buffalo, on the other hand, the what if looms at large. I mean, in the moment, trading the 10th pick to somebody that's in your conference really doesn't seem like that bad of a thing to do. But so far in the Bills' existence, it's proven to be their worst nightmare. And I mean, in retrospect, passing on Patrick Mahomes for Tyrod Taylor doesn't look that great of a decision. And honestly, I mean, who knows, if they had taken the prospect out of Texas Tech that pick, they would be the dynasty that we're all talking about right now, not the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City has now made 4 Super Bowl appearances in the 6 seasons Patrick Mahomes has been the franchise quarterback, with their absolute worst season in that stretch being a loss in the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs have consistently been one of the most threatening teams in the NFL, and with back-to-back Super Bowls in the 2022 and 2023 seasons, they're on the verge of making history. I mean, if the Chiefs go on in 2024 to win another Super Bowl, they will be the first team to have ever won 3 in a row. And they have the chance to do this with one of the best rosters in the league. And hey, look, I know they still passed on Patrick Mahomes and things could probably be better in Buffalo, but they also could have been worse for what they were stuck with. The following season, after not taking Patrick Mahomes, they would decide to move on from Tyrod Taylor, and this time they were the team trading up on draft night.
With the 7th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming.
Wyoming prospect Josh Allen was labeled a difference maker and a talented quarterback with a wealth of traits that gave him elite level potential in the NFL. Buffalo traded up to the 7th overall pick to select him, and he would enter the league as a starter right out of the gate. At this point, Patrick Mahomes had only played 1 meaningless game to end the previous season, having been drafted just a year earlier. So if we really break this down, they practically were raised in the NFL alongside each other. And I mean, boy, did their battles between them become one of the most entertaining in the AFC and the NFC all around. There's just one problem though. The Bills can't get over the hump of beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. As of the 2024 season, Mahomes is 4-3 against Josh Allen overall, but more importantly than anything, he's 3-0 against him in the playoffs. Buffalo has had 3 shots at taking down the Chiefs in the postseason, and so far they've failed each time. The most heartbreaking of those was the overtime loss at the close of the 2021 NFL season, in which Josh Allen never got the ball back to take a shot at sending the Chiefs home. They've been on the losing side all too often against the dynasty that is Andy Reid's Kansas City Chiefs, and one has to wonder what might have happened had things gone a little differently. If Buffalo had moved off of Tyrod Taylor just 1 year earlier, Patrick Mahomes could be playing in blue and white at Highmark Stadium rather than donning the red of Arrowhead. And don't get me wrong, coming into his rookie season, Josh Allen was a project in just pure raw talent, but Brian Daboll and company had to rewire his mechanics following his horrible rookie season. But I mean, that did help him to become the player and the star that he is today. But the question still remains, is his ceiling as high as Patrick Mahomes? Will Josh Allen ever be able to reach the same level of success? And is that even a fair comparison to make? Patrick Mahomes has certainly had plenty of things go his way. There is absolutely no denying that. He's playing for a first ballot Hall of Fame head coach in Andy Reid, who has been one of the league's greatest innovators on the offensive side of the ball for the past 20 plus years. On top of this, he has been incredibly fortunate to have a former 5th round pick develop into one of the greatest wide receivers in Tyreek Hill, and has also played every game of his career so far with an all-time great tight end in Travis Kelce, who on his own will also be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he decides to hang up his cleats. But those things aside, Patrick Mahomes has also proven his ability to take over a game all by himself. Many people wondered if the Chiefs would even be the same without Tyreek Hill after they traded him. Without him, they did feel a little bit dangerous, but what was the result? Back-to-back Super Bowl titles with a far less talented group of wide receivers. The first year, it was MVS, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Kadarius Toney. This year, it was Rashee Rice. Mahomes turns his receivers into stars and helps them realize their potential within his offense. At this point, there is absolutely no denying the generational talent of Patrick Mahomes. His arm talent, scramble drill capability, and big game prowess all jump off the page, but more than anything, he's just born to win. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure Josh Allen will go on to do many great things in his pro career, but had Buffalo taken Patrick Mahomes that year instead of trading the pick away, they would be Super Bowl champions by now. Like, I mean, clearly the cold is not a problem for Mahomes either. The weather in Missouri can be just as cold, if not colder, than it is in New York at times, and he's proven that he can handle that. Like, yes, I'm sure if Patrick Mahomes went to the Bills and wasn't playing with Andy Reid, there may be some fall off, but he still would have got a chance to play with Brian Daboll. That's still just as good, if not a little bit better maybe. Daboll did magical things with Josh Allen, and Mahomes was more pro ready than Allen was coming out of college. As for receivers, imagine what Patrick Mahomes and Stephon Diggs would have looked as a partnership. That would have been insane. Would we have seen more out of guys like Gabriel Davis? Would John Brown have taken his next step the Bills fans were waiting for? There's so many unanswered questions that could have been answered had Mahomes been taken by the Bills. If Josh Allen doesn't win a Super Bowl with the Bills, this storyline will haunt them for many years yet. And because of the way the draft fell in those 2 years, every championship Mahomes wins, every accolade he adds to his resume only applies greater pressure to Allen in his own pro career. Perhaps beating Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs will eventually swing the momentum in Buffalo's favor, but they are now an aging team that many fear have missed their window. The secondary has long boasted an elite duo in safeties Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, but that isn't going to last much longer. Von Miller is a shadow of a player he used to be. Tremaine Edmonds is gone. Tre'Davious White can't stay healthy, and Buffalo appears to be bleeding players defensively as a result. With the right retooling, they will always be competitive with Josh Allen at quarterback. He too is a generational talent, but he has also cost his team on too many occasions with critical turnovers. And look, I'm sure Mahomes would be a Super Bowl champion on just about any NFL team, but if he was on Buffalo, they would undoubtedly have at least 2 more championships by now. Now look, we have to look at the other side too. What if the Chiefs would have stuck with Alex Smith and kept him long term? What would have been the results there? Like hell, what if the Chiefs ended up with Josh Allen instead? And what if Andy Reid was able to coach Josh Allen? Reid has a long list of success as a pro football coach, and he's always got the very best from his quarterbacks. Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick's comeback, Alex Smith, and most recently, Patrick Mahomes. If you handed the raw and endless talent of Josh Allen to him and Eric Bieniemy in Kansas City, they might still have won Super Bowls. Josh Allen isn't perfect, but there are times when you wonder if he's got enough talent around him. Is he as fortunate as Patrick Mahomes has been in Kansas City? He's never had a Travis Kelce, that's for sure. And we don't know what Patrick Mahomes looks like without Travis Kelce yet either. The Bills offense can be frustrating at times too. And while the Chiefs have had a down year offensively in the 2023 regular season, Andy Reid remains to be one of the NFL's most impressive minds when it comes to developing a phenomenal offense. Like, you really have to sit back and think about what could have an offense looked like with Josh Allen, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill and the other guys they had on that Chiefs team. How many Super Bowls could they have won? And look, while I do respect Sean McDermott as a defensive play caller, I'm honestly not really sure if the past 2 seasons there has been a better defensive play caller than Steve Spagnuolo. Spags has shown up and helped the Chiefs win several key playoff games with elite level play calling when it matters most. The 2023 season was the greatest example of that, lifting the Chiefs offense almost all season as they struggled to find a rhythm. It's a tough question to ask, but would the Chiefs still be the dynasty we're talking about today if Josh Allen was the quarterback? Or would the Buffalo Bills finally have a ring with Patrick Mahomes leading their franchise?